When I first began my spiritual growth and development, I had no idea what an empath was, much less that I were one. And it wasn't until recently when, after taking a personality test and realizing I'm a INFP, an intuitive feeler, that this whole concept of people who are aware of energy are considered sometimes empaths and highly sensitive. And since then, since so many people describe what they are experiencing in direct ways that I know how to help manage those experiences, that we have quite a bit of content here around being an empath, empathic, highly sensitive persons, or intuitive feeler. And as we look at this, I want you to realize that being a person who is consciously aware that they are aware of information coming in beyond the physical senses is what we mean by empathic. Welcome to Spirit360 Fellowship. We're an online community of like minds and kindred spirits. We are a group of old souls, empaths, highly sensitive people, extroverts, introverts, but we're all seekers, searching for spiritual answers to life's problems. More importantly, we're training ourselves to start creating spiritual solutions to those problems. I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium. I'm always here to help you rediscover your spirit and find a way to walk your path with a great sense of purpose and intentionality. Again, welcome to Spirit360 Fellowship. We're glad you found us, yet not at all surprised you did. And some of the things that I've realized that I never was consciously aware of, but explains a lot of things, is that being someone who is not in control of our psychic abilities as empaths makes us very sensitive. So much so, sometimes it hurts. When I was growing up in the southern part of the United States, I was considered a mama's boy or a girly man or a crybaby because I was more on the sensitive side. However, I never really understood or exhibited any type of psychic gifts or anything like that at the time that I was aware of. But I always wore my heart on the sleeve, like most of you that I've gotten to know and connected with over time also do. We also happen to be very intuitive, almost to a fault. But most of the time, we don't trust what we know intuitively. And for most of us, it seems that we need regular times of being separated from crowds to help us regather our thoughts, restore our energy, and allow ourselves to be present and recoup from some of life's challenges. What's interesting is I've looked at some of the popular content about being an empath or intuitive feeler or highly sensitive, is most people can't decide if it's a curse or a gift. And as we go through today's topic, I think you'll have a pretty firm understanding of that you do have a gift. And that gift can be developed. So energy surfing describes the experience of receiving information from your psychic or your spiritual senses, makes it through all the noise of our mind into our consciousness. So this is an empath's ability to recognize their gifts, the challenge of not really being in control of your gifts, and then how to take these gifts and convert them into powers to help you understand your life and improve your lot in life. And from my perspective, your abilities as an empath, highly sensitive person, or intuitive feeler is absolutely a gift. Very few people share this gift, which makes the curse part of it ever so prominent. But I want you to think of yourself as energy whisperers. You have this energy around you that's not perceivable or palpable by the physical senses, but it is there and it's real. You have this empathic radar, but the antenna for your radar is omnidirectional. It goes in all different directions. It's aware of your intuition. It's aware of intuitive. I'm sorry. It's aware of your intuitive input. It's aware of your input outside your vibration or extrasensory perception. And it's aware from time to time of your mediumship connection or spirit communication. We also are gifted with having an ability to facilitate the healing in others. Now, this healing touch, whether you're a good listener, whether you're someone who supports other people, or whether you've developed your gift as a hands-on healer, healing is real. And as healers, we facilitate others to speed up the healing process in their lives because they're responsible for their own healing. But we help remove from them some of the impediments to them being able to heal themselves and be well. The other part that I've always loved and never really understood is exactly how much many empathic people are animal whisperers. Most of us care more about the well-being of animals than we do about well-being of many other people that we know in our lives. People seem to have a choice. Oftentimes, animals are the victims of whoever happens to be raising them. And I call this the old soul's burden because as I've related to since I started my spiritual growth and development prior to my understanding of myself as an empath, I lumped all of these behaviors and all of these experiences under an old soul. And there's two types of old souls. There's the old soul who is not empathic, who was born into a situation which required them to become very street smart and savvy at an early age to survive their tribal or community challenges. A more traditional old soul is a spiritual being with a great deal of empathic ability who is able to, or who is that way because they lived about 30 or so lifetimes, and spirituality and this energy, this wave of energy is in the foreground of your consciousness. There are old souls who are both. They have had 30 or more lifetimes who happen to choose a lifetime born to parents that require them to become very street smart and savvy early. So there are a combination of the street smart old soul and the spiritual old soul. And as we look into this ability to begin the process of integrating our spirituality, our spiritual awareness, and our empathic insight into our day-to-day lives, I call that the old soul's burden. The challenges we face as a person learning to deal with these skills is that most of us have no clue where the on-off switch is for these abilities. We are born into this world, and our spiritual and religious experiences come to us like a box from IKEA for a very complicated. It's all you got the box, and inside that box, your physical body is the box, and inside that box, all the pieces are there. And you open the box, but in this one rare occasion, from an IKEA box, the instructions are missing. You go online and you happen to have your Wi-Fi's down, your cell phone's down, and you don't really have any way to get the instructions. All the pieces are there, they fit together, and you know that they will work really well when you get it all put together, but you just don't have the instruction book to get it put together. That's how it is with your psychic and your empathic abilities. You know that when it gets all together and you understand how it all works, you will know where the on-off switch is. You will know where the volume switch is, and it'll work. And you know that you have omnidirectional antenna and you are perceiving stuff. You just don't know exactly where the stuff you're receiving is coming from, how to differentiate it, how to use it, how to interpret it, how to discern it. And as we begin the process through our spiritual growth and development practices to put together our owner's manual for instruction, the instructional owner's manual for putting this together and how to use it, that's where we find ourselves converting this into a gift. The first step in the instruction manual, when we bring everyone into our training, is to help them create directional antenna. So you've got an omnidirectional antenna aware of everything, and we want to learn to focus that antenna to very specific places within our awareness. So you direct the directional antenna to your intuition. How is your intuition different from your mind? So that's step one. You have this directional antenna pointed towards your intuition, and you learn how to get accurate information that feels different because it's coming from your intuition than from your brain or your mind. Then we direct the antenna outside your awareness, beyond your vibration, and you get an extra sensory perception of the world. How does this person feel? How does this object feel? How does this stuff outside of me, which is not me, but in the physical world, feel energetically to our empathic abilities? After we have competency in tuning into our intuition, we have competency in our directing towards our ESP. We can differentiate the two as distinct from our mind. Then we can direct that antenna towards our spirit guides and teachers and tune into them to develop a mediumship and spirit communication skill. Now, the first step in being able to differentiate this directional antenna and direct it where we want to is to enter the eye of the storm. The eye of the storm allows us to keep the chaos of the world at bay while we develop these skills in a safe place. The first safe place we have to find is within ourselves. Once we get in that eye of the storm, we use the process of the 3 R's, right meditation, which taps us into silence. Right thought, which allows us to consciously and intentionally create the directional antenna and direct it into one area. And right action, which is once we're tapped into our intuition, we take actions to help us verify that our intuition is accurate and that we can hear it on command. Same thing for intuition, same thing for mediumship. Then all of a sudden, it's time to start integrating some skills into the world. And that's where it helps to have the safety and numbers of a community like Spirit360 Fellowship, because you can show up in a place where you can talk about all the weird stuff you've experienced and thought about and starting to understand but not really master, in a place where it's safe for you to share, receive instruction and coaching, and learn how to master your abilities. As you do so, you develop a confidence in your ability to direct your psychic and spiritual senses like an antenna into your awareness. This confidence allows you to no longer be messable with your mind's ability to confuse things, misunderstand things, and overthink things, or the world around you's misunderstanding of your ability to tap into this unseen energy. The end result is you develop a unstoppable quality that allows you to find your way through whatever barriers there are to what you want to accomplish and experience. And that unstoppability is the step of turning your gift into a power that's consistent and count onable. I call this energy surfing. And as an energy surfer, you have many choices. Most of us are naturally competent healers. Many of us allow ourselves to bring healing into the world, and we develop skills in doing so. Many people who are good healers can work miracles with those they work with. And I don't know about you, but from my perspective, our world can use some miracle workers, especially those who understand who they are, why they're here, and where they're going, unstoppable in sharing their gift powerfully with those they encounter. My highest blessings.